and welcome to the Daily Space Weather. I'm your host, Dan, aka Smash-O-Mash. Coming at you from the Smash News Network, least busted name of news to let you know that there is another coronal mass ejection headed in our direction. A mass ejection headed in our direction. The first thing we're looking at before we get to that is the geospace around planet Earth. So this is the magnetohydrodynamic pressure around planet Earth. The sun would be off to your left. The magnetotail would be off to your right. That's the dark side of the planet. And this is the last 4 hours as Earth's magnetosphere is buffeted by a high-speed coronal hole wind. We'll let that play through to get it onto your screen as quickly as possible. This video is a live, it was originally premiered as a live premiere event. It is a recorded video, but it is a YouTube exclusive. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. And that's the last 4 hours of the Geospace magnetosphere movie. Next, looking at ground magnetic perturbations, Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. That was Earth's magnetic moment from space. This is Earth's magnetic moment from the ground, yeah? So this is the last 4 hours as well, yeah? This one is scaled in nanotesla. Again, there is a high-speed coronal hole wind stream striking Earth's magnetosphere at the moment, not causing a whole lot of geomagnetic issues. KP index is at 3. That's a measurement of global geomagnetism. For you new viewers, the planetary K index. You want to read more about that? Click on the details tab here from the planetary K index page, and you can read all about it. Next, the real-time solar wind. And as we forecasted yesterday, we did see a little uptick in the solar wind speed. So this was sort of expected. It did make it up to about 580 kilometers per second there for a brief moment. Now coming well off of those highs, more around where we covered it yesterday on yesterday's exclusive YouTube Daily Space Weather video. Current conditions, 516 kilometers per second. Solar wind density, just under 7.5 protons per cubic centimeter. Continuing on, to see no relativistic particles despite a coronal mass ejection headed Earth's way. We can expect it to arrive in about 3 days. And we'll show you more details on that a little bit later. By the way, make sure you don't watch us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Smash-O-Mash. Make sure you do not watch us on Twitch, as you may get additional content that is not controlled by big tech corporatist oligarchs. Here's your GOES magnetometer readings over the past 3 days. And these spiky signatures here are typically what you see when there's plasma arriving. And indeed, there is plasma arriving. It affects the magnetic field environment. Let's move on to the heliospheric magnetic field environment. You're looking at the polarity of the heliospheric current sheet. Earth is now solidly in a North Pole current sheet, so shown here in green. Earth has recently left this South Pole current sheet. And solar activity has dropped down big time in the past couple of days. If you're frightened of an inactive sun, well, it's your turn to be frightened. Anyway, that data's nearly 2 hours old from when we recorded the video. We'll also show the line of sight view to show a pretty disorganized magnetic structure at the moment facing the Earth. Sunspot number is about to drop down to 0, and the radio flux down to 101 solar flux units. Let's move to coronal holes. What evil lurks in the depths of coronal holes? Protons. Protons. They're a cosmic ray source, essentially, as high-speed protons are blasting out of those coronal holes. Some North Pole-oriented ones here rotating in the northeast. The current high-speed coronal hole wind stream is from these South Pole-oriented coronal holes. Some of them showed up a little bit earlier than expected. We can expect a couple more days of occasional high-speed stream. You can see this well-defined North Pole-oriented coronal hole here in 193 angstroms. Also a C-class solar flare showing up there. It was a long-duration C-class flare right toward the end of the video, and it is associated with an Earth-directed coronal mass ejection. More on that later in the video. First, sunspots. And we are down to 0 sunspots at the moment. So again, if you're frightened of an inactive sun, now's your time to be frightened. Raise the alarm bells. Oh my God, there are no sunspots at the moment, although there may be one rising down here in the southeast. We'll cover that in our bonus features segment. And if you head to smashomash.com/smashteam and click on posts, you'll find all of our videos. Although I wouldn't recommend you do that because, again, smashomash.com/smashteam is not controlled by big tech oligarchs. Next, looking at 1700 angstroms to show you, I think, 0 sunspots, folks. So there you go. And let's move on to solar flares. But first, a reminder, do not visit our BitChute channel. It is not controlled by big tech oligarchs. Although there have been some oddities here. We were seeing 2,000 plus views a day. Check it out. 2100, 2055, 2128, 2090, 2105, 2254, our most viewed video ever, I think, as above, so below. And then they dropped down to 1500 and 1600 and then to 500. What's up with that? Kind of odd. Anyway, bitchute.com/smashomash is a site you definitely should not visit, although we do definitely put up exclusive content daily, thanks to our new followers on Twitch, twitch.tv/smashomash. It's just such a great live streaming platform that we use it on the regs. Make sure you don't visit it. Again, it is not controlled by big tech oligarchs. Our Twitter feed is not sanctioned by big tech oligarchs either. Twitter.com/smashomash. We've got a whopping 242 followers. I think that's a new high, so make sure you do not visit us over there, as you may see exclusive retweets and exclusive statements about various things. Do not visit us on Instagram. Whatever you do, don't visit on Instagram. It could get you additional content, and we don't want you to see additional content. Or visit smashomash.com/smashteam, nor become a member of the Smash Team, especially a gold or silver or gold annual paid-up subscription member. We definitely don't want you to see additional content by clicking posts. That would be very subversive and indeed evil. In any case, welcome to the Neo-Renaissance. Do not visit smashomash.com or any of the links below this video, as they may provide you with a value-added service, and definitely don't click the links on our homepage either. But welcome to the Neo-Renaissance regardless, smashomash.com. So here are the X-rays of the past 3 days. And the coronal mass ejection that's headed toward Earth was associated with this rather long-duration C-class flare here. The peak flux was around 5:20 Universal Time this morning on April 11th. And let's take a look in 335 angstroms. The cool blue tones of ionized iron. 335 angstroms is one of my favorites from the SDO. It's good at showing filaments also, so you can see a bunch of filaments around the limbs, such as down here and up here. And you can kind of see some plasma reorientation right at the end of this, right there, where that flare happened. I'll let it play through one more time for your viewing pleasure. Number 1, I order you to go to the next slide. Engage. Next, a star chart. It's a great couple of months here for morning stargazing, as we've got a series of planets on the ecliptic. Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, and Venus all rising ahead of the sun. Here's a solar system forecast for you before we show the coronal mass ejections. There's where things will be in a week. We will have a gibbous waning following our next full moon on April 17th. Next, your coronagraphs located at Lagrange point 1 will have the Soho-Lascaux C2 on the right, and located at Lagrange 5 will have stereo A's coronagraph on the left. And we've got some plasma headed in Earth's direction. So if you look at this right side here, you can see there is a halo there. Let's bring this back. There we go. You can see this halo coronal mass ejection there. When you see plasma on all sides of the obscurement disk, it is an indication that the plasma is headed in your direction. So from the perspective of the Soho-Lascaux C2, the Earth would be behind you. From stereo A, it would be off in this direction. And again, that is an Earth-directed coronal mass ejection. So if you're frightened of CMEs and of low-activity sun, well, it's your lucky day. It's a great day to be frightened, because we've got low solar activity and an Earth-directed coronal mass ejection, which we can expect to strike the Earth's geospace in about 3 days. Will it end all of society? Well, I'll just choose not to cover that, because there are so many YouTube channels that want to tell you all about that stuff with or without a physics explanation. So anyway, thanks for tuning in to the Daily Space Weather. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. Make sure you do not visit our links below the video. As I sign off from the Smash News Network, least busted name in news, I would remind you that our finest days lie ahead. And I would hope that solar wind be at your back.